In today's Singapore, population numbers amount to 5.67 million. At least 1% of individuals suffer from autism, amounting up to a total of 56,700 people. One out of 150 children in Singapore are diagnosed with autism, a larger demographic as opposed to the World Health Organization's statistical figure of 1 out of every 160. These numbers are steadily rising as we speak, and caregivers for these children are also on the rise. The concerns of the ability to properly raise these children with special needs continue to plague the lifestyles of these guardians on a daily basis. As these families continue to be crippled by the troubles of autism, will there be someday they finally see the light at the end of the tunnel? Autism spectrum disorder is a pervasive neurodevelopmental problem. It emanates from a neurological point in the brain, or rather, neurological differences in the brain. It affects many areas of normal human functioning. So, a child with autism will demonstrate problems in social cognition, but we tend to see other problems as well, such as repetitive behaviors, stereotypical behaviors, difficulties in understanding language and perspectives. Diagnosis for autism occurs at a young age for children, and researchers have shown that it is mainly due to a genetic link. Thus, ever since birth, these children start to face difficulties as they grow up. So, what are the problems children with autism face, and what is the best way to help them?
Joshua, my second child, he was a very chubby boy. He was a 4 kilo baby and was a very smooth delivery. During the time when he was 1.5, we realized that there is something terribly wrong because he did not answer us when we call his name. He was not responding to us. Well, during the same time also we realized that our first child, Emmanuel, was not really speaking. So we sent them both to see the developmental pediatrician, and we found that they were both diagnosed with global developmental delay. During that time, me and my husband, we went through all the diagnosis criteria, all the questionnaires, and we are quite certain that he really have the social communication issues and he doesn't acknowledge us. So we are very certain that he has autism.
After 6 years of enrolling Joshua in a special school and him receiving therapies and treatments, Dr. Debbie thought Joshua would get better, but things didn't turn out that way.
His one of his sensory needs to have many layers of clothes. First, he has like these 3 layers of shirt that he likes to wear. In school, apparently, the teacher have to strip him down to 1 layer every single day. So what happened is that his sensory needs actually escalate. He would start wearing like 20 layers of clothes. The teacher is saying that, sorry, we can't not take the shirts out because he needs to have a more socially accepted behavior. We decided that I think school is not for you, and we decided to have a full-time home program for him.
The program that Dr. Debbie adopted to was called Sunrise. It is a program steered towards educating and empowering parents to first understand their child's world. By stepping in and following the child's steaming behavior, it strives to pave a natural bond between the parent and the child instead of the traditional methods of conforming the child to behave normally.
It's a very child led environment, so he is the boss in that room. So we do not tell him what to do in that room. Unless he come to us and we want to build on our conversation, our connection.
Following the child's pace in learning may sound positive, but that would also mean that there is no certain motivation for growth outside his or her comfort zone. As Joshua is easily stressed with the outdoors, Dr. Debbie only brings him out once every week, and that's to church on Sundays.
I don't think children should be secluded. I think that a child with more experiences is a child who learns better. So, in this situation where the child is in this particular program that is completely child centered, then some of the problems that will arise is that the child doesn't actually learn to adapt to different people. Focusing on the child's needs is important, but focusing only on the child's needs can be counterproductive, you know.
The futures of these children raises the big question: how will they survive without their caregivers? Raising them in either extreme ends of the different educational methods doesn't seem ideal too. So how much progress do they have to have before it's okay to step out on their own? It has been 2 years since Joshua started his Sunrise education. Drastic changes has happened, family dynamics took a turn, and Joshua's growth peaked. The results were evident.
He's happier. He started to look at us. He has very good eye contact, and he was started to speak from non-verbal to now. He is actually have a vocabulary of about 70 words. So far, we've been quite amazed how much he has been able to take in and learn during these past 2 years.
It's actually, I think, quite an exception that he spoke after the age of 5 and then spoke very rapidly after he had learned to speak, because research tells us that most children, if they haven't acquired language before 5, would find it very difficult to acquire language after 5. But, you know, speaking 75 words at age 10 is probably a little bit too slow for me.
Having come so far, Dr. Debbie went through a lot of hardships. There were sacrifices she had to make, questions that she had which she couldn't answer 10 years back then, and the emotional turmoil was near unbearable.
It was a very difficult time for me and my husband because the two of us felt like something was stolen from us. And the thing is that the prognosis of autism is a lifetime. The thought, the fear that my child will never have a girlfriend, might not have family. I was even thinking that is it better if he not even born? So this is very, very painful. And the hardest part is that we have 2 children who seems to have special needs at that time, and we felt that the whole world like pointing fingers at us, and it's like our friends and relatives seems to like, oh yeah, it's genetic, and it's like you are not a good match to each other and things like that. So me and my husband finally decided that we want to have more children because we wanted him to grow up among people who support him and love him. Subsequently have a girl, Marian, and a boy, Isaac. When I was pregnant, I got some parents, acquaintances of mine who came to me and scolded me, for you are being so selfish. You know that you have genetically have 2 children who are not quite normal, and now you are going to have another child that is going to burden the society.
Society's judgment also came to be one of the weights that pulled her down.
We always wanted him to be among other children. Other children will be playing. I try to play with him. But, he has a condition whereby he cannot relate to other kids. Other parents also will find it very uncomfortable to let their children to be with my child. We have stares and we have body language. It can tell us a lot about how a person feels.
In spite of all these, Dr. Debbie grew to be a strong mother that strives to surround Joshua and her other children with love. She taught Joshua many things, but Joshua taught her much more.
Without him, we will not have come to this point whereby we are so grateful for everything that we have. We learn to be more patient, we learn to be more understanding, we learn about love much, much more than what the world knows about love. So for him, whether he is going to recover tomorrow, next year, 20 years from now, or he's going to remain where he is today, he is still a great blessing for us. Firstly, also, we will not have 4 kids if we didn't have Joshua. I will not be spending so much time at home. Maybe I'm not having like a fly high career that I have planned I would have, But I have amazing, wonderful family. I will not trade it for anything in the world.
The hurdles that these parents face are almost unsurmountable, but with love as their fuel, they choose to trudge on fiercely. No matter how much they struggle, they still believed in their child. Then how about us? Do we believe in a future for these children too? If so, do we just gain in understanding and grow in acceptance to embrace them? Should there be a more practical approach to groom them? At the end of the day, these children are still a part of us, a part of the population, a part of the people that we might come to meet and possibly love too.